Welcome to week 10. So far, we've looked at adapting the coursebook with a focus on skills and culture. This week, we'll be looking at supplementing the coursebook with authentic materials. But first, let's think about what an authentic text is. On your screen, there are 4 statements. Choose the one that is false.
Hopefully, you got the same answer as us. Authentic text can be written by both non-native speakers and native speakers. In fact, we agree with Murrow, who defines an authentic text as real language samples produced and used by real language users to convey a real message.
When talking about authenticity, we must not only focus on the nature of the text itself, but also on the nature of the task, in the sense that the tasks we design should also be authentic to match our authentic texts. Hall makes the point that authenticity is not in itself sufficient to make the work based on it either interesting or valuable. What counts is the reader's response, the task we engage the learners in. Authentic tasks are tasks that prepare learners for the real communicative purposes they need to be engaged in. This makes reference to learners' own realities, so again, considering learners' needs and wants is crucial. Pedagogic tasks refer to language-focused tasks. So, for example, we can talk about controlled grammar practice, gap filling, or transformation exercises.
Bearing in mind what you've just heard about the differences between the two types of tasks, let's try the following activity. On your screen, you will see the description of some tasks. Decide whether they are pedagogic or authentic by clicking the correct word. So far we've defined authentic text and given an overview of the types of tasks. Now we're going to cover the question that many teachers ask themselves, which is why to use authentic materials. It is widely recognised that coursebooks contain language that does not present a true reflection of the real, informal kind of English that takes place in written and spoken texts, that only a limited variety of texts are represented.
There are many benefits and challenges related to using authentic materials. We will now discuss them in relation to 4 main topics: motivation, language, learner needs, and culture.
One of the biggest benefits is being able to choose texts that relate to your learner interests. We've also found that when learners are able to comprehend something real, they become highly motivated. However, we do need to be mindful of the level of the text. If it's too difficult, this can be demotivating.
Regarding language, authentic materials can provide examples of natural language use, for example, idioms, vocabulary, hesitations, especially in spoken discourse. Regarding the use of vocabulary, for example, the learners can see the real meaningful context in which those items are used. However, considering the complexity of the structures is something very important because those can make the text be very difficult. Another aspect to consider is the different accents that can be present in the spoken discourse. Regarding learner needs, we know that coursebooks are mainly created for an international audience, so choosing authentic materials can really relate to the learner needs. We can find authentic materials that really match our learners. However, we know that with all the topics we've covered so far, we can also adapt or supplement our coursebooks with other types of materials. So the fact that coursebooks are made for an international audience doesn't really call for only the use of authentic materials, as there are other techniques we can use.
In terms of culture, authentic texts can be taken from the local context, and therefore they provide opportunities for the learners to really explore real cultures, not only foreign cultures but also their own culture. However, we really need to be careful that the text we choose does not stereotype or present culture as facts, and that, like with the coursebook, we give opportunities for the learners to explore and critically examine the cultures present in the text we present to them.
So now, as a summary, we would like you to do the following activity. On your screen, you will see 4 statements and 4 words. Drag the word to complete the sentence.
We've just discussed the benefits and challenges, and one way to overcome these is to adapt the text. But the question is, Should we adapt authentic materials? And if so, how much?
Different positions have been taken on this dilemma. There are some who think that a text shouldn't be edited, others who think that for contextual reasons slight adaptations can be justified, whilst on the more extreme end is the position that as soon as an authentic material enters the class, it loses its authenticity.
We've nearly reached the end of the video, but before we say bye, we'd like to give you the details for this week's tasks. For the first one, we'd like you to consider the question we've just been discussing. We'll be talking more about this in our next face-to-face session, so think about how you feel about adapting authentic materials.
The final activity is this week's reading task. On your screen, there are the links to 2 short articles which cover key points, practical ideas, and examples about how to use authentic materials. We would like you to read the articles and, bearing in mind the level you are currently teaching, share in the forum which key points you would have to consider in your class. We can't wait to hear what you think.